So first thing I want to point out to everyone is that since I have been a True Earth teacher, which is publicly in early 2015, I've always used the Ptolemaic model. There is only one model. We should not be arguing for a start about the model that we live in. Sure, we'll be arguing about details because we don't know everything about this, that, and all the mechanics of the model, but there is only one model, and that model is the atomic, all is atom, toroidal field model, which happens to be the Ptolemaic model, which I've been using since I began my public work on YouTube in 2011. And that was when I was using Copernican. I was still using Copernican methods and measurements, etc., but defaulting to the astrological Ptolemaic model. So please understand that that will always be my model, and if you can see if you can see, it's very important that I get that out, and you'll see why eventually in a minute. But can you see my screen there?
You mean the board behind you?
No, I'm trying to share my screen. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead and hit share screen down there.
Okay, let's do this. So I've got to go to Zoom. Share screen, bang. Okay, beautiful. Can you see that now?
We got it.
All right, guys, please, everyone, watch this video. I did this about, I think it was 2018, and it's called Plain Earth is Scientific, Globe Earth is Not. And here I show you how it is that there is only one model, and that is all is atom, the torus field model of the Earth, with the plane of inertia as the planet of Earther. They are the same word, plane of inertia. And all scientists have agreed that what they call the block wall, or the plane of inertia of magnetic fields, is the only place that can sustain life in the whole system. That's why the Earth is called a plane net. Anyway, so please, guys, watch this video. I can't express, this is the most important video you'll ever see on the plain Earth or the True Earth model, because there is only one model and you have to get to know it. There's no other model. There is no other model. Everything is we are made of atoms. That's why this is called an anatomy, because it's atoms. But we need to know what atoms are. They are torus fields. Everything is torus fields. We live in a massive enclosed globular torus field. It has a plane of inertia in the center of it, and that's where humanity lives. That's the terrestrial plane. All right, and that is the only model. There can be no argument. There is no argument. There will never be. And there has always been, through all the ancient traditions, there has always been this teaching that there is like an Yggdrasil type tree in the middle, which is the hyperbola, the North Pole, and then in the center, the plane of inertia, the block wall extends out, and life dwells on that plane. And plane also has to do with plants. Planet of plants. It's the same word, and that's the food of man. Now, the first point I want to get to is when we're discussing the true Earth, we should always use arguments or points that are easy to understand to anybody. Because most people who believe they live on a globe, they know nothing about their model. In fact, we are the ones educating them about it, and then they find out that they really need to learn their own model, which they can't because none of it works, whereas everything we have works. So I like to use simple things to prove that the true Earth system that we have. Now, one is the new moon. The new moon is an easy way to disprove the moon being a rock and having any kind of material substance to it at all. And therefore, neither is Mars, and therefore neither is Venus. Whereas in Wikipedia, if you punch in Saturn, in the first paragraph, it will tell you that Saturn is a gas giant. It's just a bunch of gas. If you go to Jupiter, it will tell you that Jupiter is a gas giant. It's just a bunch of gas, hydrogen and helium. If you go to the sun, it will tell you that the sun is completely empty, no mass, nothing. It's just not mass, no material physicality to it. It's just a bunch of hydrogen and helium. So why is it that we've always thought of the moon as a portal, a wormhole? It's clearly a wormhole. It's the hyperbola of a torus field. And it's always been known that it is a phenomena, a fourth dimensional or trans-dimensional, I should say, phenomena. It's not a physical phenomena. It's like a rainbow. It's there, you can see it, but it's not there. It's projected into the sky. You can see the rainbow, and your friend standing 15 meters over there may not see the rainbow because wrong angle, too bad, you miss out. That is how the moon and the sun and everything that we see up there, which is transdimensional and counterspatial, that's how significant it is that we understand that when we're looking at the sun and the moon, we are looking at toroidal portals, wormholes. In fact, the ancients knew that souls come through the porthole or the wormhole, the portal of the moon, and they knew that souls would depart at the portal of the sun. And that's why when people have these out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, they always go to the light. It's because there is only the light of the sun. Now, so the point that I'd like to make is, at the new moon, now, Copernicans, so I'm representing the Ptolemaic toroidal system, which every single culture in history taught up until Copernicus. So the Copernicans are the globies. In my way of seeing things, the Ptolemaics are the true earthers. It's a Ptolemaic system, period. And the only astronomer that got close to it was Tycho Brahe. He was correct when he called it a geo-heliocentric system. It's not geocentric. It is primarily geocentric, but there is also a heliocentric component to the system. And Tycho Brahe got it spot on. He said the sun and the moon circle around the stationary flat Earth, and the 5 wandering planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury, circle around the sun. We'll get to that in a minute. But here's my question to the globies, and you have to answer this. This is the first thing you have to answer. And if you fail to answer this question, you do not have a model at all whatsoever. And this is the question. Where does the moon disappear to? Where does it go for 60 hours at the new moon every month? Where does it disappear to? Well, let me show you what happens. I suppose I have to stop sharing screen so I can get my board. Is that correct? Can someone please
You're good.
help me?
Yep, you're good.
Yep. Is that a good angle?
Right there. Yep, we see it great.
Okay. So what we have is this. There's the sun. And this is a waning moon. It's waning. And it's always 7% illuminated. In fact, when it starts waxing on the other side, it disappears for 60 hours. So from here, when it hits the 15th degree, the moon becomes totally invisible every month for 60 hours as it goes past the sun, and then it reappears as a new moon on the 16th degree, 7% lit up, and then it grows 7% every day for 14 days until it becomes a full moon. Now, you can, all over the world, you can see the moon from this crescent, 7% lit up. You can watch the moon, you can see the moon in the sky until it gets to this point, and then for 2.5 days, it disappears. It vanishes from the sky. Now, the moon is a rock, according to the astronauts who went up there to play golf. What else do you do when you're on a scientific mission, right? You bring your golf clubs when you go to the moon. Yeah. Duh. A Dune buggy, which I don't know how they fit it in that cake mixer, which they use to fly there, that the Hitachi Japanese foil cake mixer that they brought their Dune buggy in, and their telephone to talk to President Dickey about his Dickey affairs in Watergate. How's it going there, Dickey? We're on the moon and it's a rock. And we happened to land on the transparent bit. We landed on it over here where you can't see the darn rock. The Santa Moon rock, you can't see it for 60 hours. What happens? Does NASA fly a rocket out every month and lasso the moon in and shove it up its rear end down in Florida or in Texas or Cape Canaveral or wherever it is? And what do they shove it up some monster's backside and hide it for 60 hours? Who hides the moon for 60 hours every month? Why is the moon rock? I mean, the sun's 93 million miles away. That's a very squiggly 3. And this, the moon rock, the Santa Moon rock. Hello, all of you Copernican astrologers out there who believe in the Santa Moon rock. It's actually invisible. Why do you think you can see blue sky through the moon when it's waxing and waning like this as a crescent? Where's the rock bit where the astronauts landed? You know, the transparent moon. Be nice to have an answer from the Globies. Where does the moon go for 60 hours every month? It should be doing this. Now, the sun's ecliptic here is in red and the moon's ecliptic is in blue. So the moon can be 5.5 degrees positive declination at the most, and it can be 5.5 degrees negative declination at the most from the sun at any given time. So either we should see eclipses when the moon is at the same declination as the sun, or we should at least see the moon near the sun as it goes past the sun, below or above, every single month. And yet never in history has anyone ever seen the moon transiting the sun as a rock, as a ball. Since you can't answer that question, you never will, you don't have a model. You absolutely do not have a model. The second thing I want to address is a lot of globies will say, oh, well, how do you predict eclipses with your flat model, whatever. Well, for a start, it's so sad that we have to educate. I don't like using the word educate. I prefer to use the word enlighten. But how can you enlighten stupidity when people choose to not do their history? The Mayans, I'm living in Chiapas, Mexico right now, Mayan territory. They were predicting the eclipses on their stationary flat Earth for thousands of years before the Jesuit Copernicus turned up. And so were the Europeans that built all those cathedrals in the Middle Ages, and the Egyptians who built the pyramids. They were predicting eclipses. They always were. I can teach get me a retarded 6-year-old, and I can teach them how to predict eclipses with our flat Earth model in 5 minutes. And this is how easy it is. Okay? This is the heavens. The zodiac wheel turns clockwise every 24 hours over the Earth. This is, in astrology, this is called the line of the Earth. Here is the ascendant, the east, and the sun. Where have I got the sun? Here's the sun in Cancer. Today is the 24th of June. Very significant day today. It's the birthday of Saint John the Baptist. Directly opposite the birthday of Jesus on the 25th. On the 25th of December, exactly the 180 degrees opposite, today, the 24th of June, is the day when the sun, when the sun reaches Cancer, I like to keep it like this. Aries is here at the equinox. Libra is here at the equinox. There's Libra. There's Aries. Taurus, Gemini, Tropic of Cancer, always on the top. And that's where the sun is right now. Mars and Venus are in Leo right now. The moon is in Virgo today. This here is the south node, and this is the north node, guys. And the north node is in Taurus, right at the last degrees of Taurus right now. The secret of working out eclipses is to know where the nodes are. The nodes are the secret. That's all you need to know. Where are the nodes? And all the eclipses recently will be happening in the sign of Taurus and in the sign of Scorpio. And you'll find that, I'm going to show you that in a minute, okay? Because eclipses can only happen where the nodes are. Now, most people who don't know astronomy and astrology won't know what these nodes are. Let me explain. So the sun is on the ecliptic, right ascension of meridian. It's always right ascending. You see, because if you're standing on the earth, you're looking south, you have to face south to be able to see the sun rising in the east, right ascending, hitting the MC, the middle of the heaven, midday, and then coming to the descendant where it descends in the west. And every 24 hours, this is what's going on. You see? So we're going to get to the nodes in a minute, but the moon and the sun are not on the same plane. The plane of the sun is called the ecliptic. Now, all the other planets are on different planes, but they all pretty much are in the same vicinity in the 18-degree wide zodiac belt. The ecliptic is always, the planets are always pretty much within that belt. Sometimes they go out of bounds, it goes out of there, but pretty much all of those zodiac signs, that's where the sun and all the planets will be. But they're not all on the same plane. So where the plane of the moon and the plane of the sun, where they intersect, they are called the nodes. They are nodes in any two circles, not just the sun and the moon. Now, this is the north node because the moon goes above the sun's plane. And this is the south node because the moon for 14 days has to go below the plane of the sun. And it's only when the sun or the moon are near the north node or the south node, which is called Rahu and Ketu, the head of the dragon, the tail of the dragon. But let's just stick with astronomy, okay? Let's call it the north node and the south node. Now, what's happening is all of these planets, they are all going counterclockwise through these signs every year. Aries is the first sign, spring. Taurus, spring. Gemini, spring. Bang, summer, Cancer. Leo, Cancer, summer. Virgo, summer. And then here begins the fall because the sun has to fall all the way down to its death at Christmas time. So you've got autumn, the fall, and then you've got winter. Now, all of these planets, they're all going counterclockwise. The moon tomorrow will be about here. Right now it's in the early degrees of Virgo, but it travels 13 degrees, lucky number 13, every day. The sun moves 1 degree every day. Every day takes 30 degrees to go through a sign. 30 degrees. Mars moves about half a degree every day. Venus always moves at 1 degree every day, and so does Mercury, 1 degree every day. Now, Pluto, on the other hand, is going to take 25 years to go from here to here. Pluto is on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. It entered Capricorn in 2008, and it's still in Capricorn in 2023. So it takes about 25 years to go from here to here. Now, the north node, the nodes are the only bodies in the sky that retrogress continuously. So the nodes are always going this way, and it takes 18 months to go back to its original point here. Now, pretty soon, in the next couple of months, the nodes are going to go into Aries and Libra. So they've been in they've been in Scorpio, and the North Node's been in Taurus, and the South Node in Scorpio for gee, how long does it take? It's a couple of months, right? No, wait a minute. 18 months a year, so it's like just a couple of weeks per month. Yeah, okay. All right, so what we'll find now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show how you can work out the eclipses yourself. As I said, you can teach this to a 6-year-old in 5 minutes. All you need to know is where the nodes are, because eclipses only occur near the lunar nodes. It's not the moon passing in front of the sun that's causing the eclipse. It's not the Earth in between the sun and the moon that causes the eclipse. It's the nodes. And it's provable. And here it is. Here is a website, guys. Can you see my screen? Please, I need a yes.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. Yep, we see it great.
Okay, guys. All right. So here I'm going to do a decade of eclipses. Okay, a decade of eclipses, friends. And this site here is called timeanddate.com/eclipse/list. Anyway, there it is, right there. This is so very important. Now, because apparently we who know the true model of the stationary Earth, apparently we wouldn't have the faintest how to predict eclipses. We have to depend on the globies who stole it off the stationary flat earthers in the first place and are pretending that since Copernicus came, we're the only ones that know how to predict eclipses. No, you're not. No, you're not. A 2-year-old half-wit can be taught how to predict eclipses. Now, have a look at this phenomena. There can only be 4 or 5, sometimes 6 eclipses per year, and they are always spread out 6 months apart. That should already be able to tell you something very interesting. Knowing that the nodes retrogress at the rate of what was the rate now? I forget. Where did I have that information? Well, anyway, knowing that in a year and a half, the nodes would have retrogressed all the way around to their original point in a year and a half. Knowing that, you can follow the eclipses. Let's start with 2020, shall we? All right, so we had a lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So we're in Capricorn back then. The nodes were in Capricorn because January 10 is Capricorn. And then you jump over to June 5th, that's Cancer. So you can see already 6 months apart, Jan and June, both at the here is the Tropic of Capricorn, here is the Tropic of Cancer, and you have 2 lunar eclipses. Then 2 weeks, there's always 2 week separation. You'll notice it's always 2 weeks. June the 5th to June the 21st is 14 days. So we have a solar eclipse. You can never, ever have more than 2 solar eclipses every year. Why is that? Because the sun it takes 6 months to get from the north node to the south node. So these should be indicators and telltale indicators for you to work out how easy it is to predict the eclipses. So then now we've got a lunar eclipse exactly 14 days after June the 21st. So you got lunar, solar, lunar. When you have 3 in a row like this, it's always lunar, solar, lunar. It's never solar, lunar, solar, because there can only be 1 solar eclipse here, and 1 solar eclipse would have happened over here in Capricorn as well. So now from there, we go another 6 months to November, and we've got a lunar eclipse. And then 14 days after that, in December, we've got a solar eclipse. So you can see this was a very busy year. This is a very unusual year because it started early in the year, January, where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eclipses. That's the most you can ever have. You can never, ever, 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 ever have more than 6 eclipses a year, period. Okay, eclipses for 2021. Well, we've only got 4. And as usual, the first one's a lunar, the second one's a solar. And that happens in the sign of still Gemini here, Cancer, I mean. Now we're getting into Gemini. See how it's retrogressing? The nodes are going backwards. Here we see May. From now on, every year we're going to see this going backwards. All of these dates will go backwards. So here we have a lunar eclipse on May the 25th. 14 days after, we have a solar eclipse. Then 6 months, we have to wait 6 months for the next set of eclipses, and we have a lunar eclipse again, and then 14 days after, we have a solar eclipse. So we had the usual 4 eclipses separated by 6 months and 14 days. There's always 14 days between the 2 sets here, and then 6 months jump from this one to this double eclipse here. Now look at this, April. So back in 2021, we were starting in May around Gemini and Taurus. Now we're starting to get to Taurus and Aries. You can see the nodes are going backwards. So only 4 eclipses in 2022. April, solar eclipse. 14 days later, lunar eclipse. Jump 6 months, October the 25th, Scorpio, solar eclipse, followed by lunar eclipse in Scorpio. You see now we were in Capricorn, now we're going to backwards Sagittarius and Scorpio here in the second set of eclipses, and over here we're going to Aries. Now let's have a look at this year. Well, here we go, April 20, Aries, solar eclipse. That's the one we experienced only 2 months ago. And the next one will be, and the next one then was the lunar eclipse in May. We already passed that. Now we look forward to the October eclipse in this year, and it'll be a solar eclipse. 6 months separation there, and then 14 days after this solar eclipse, we get a lunar eclipse, and the pattern recurs. There it is there, guys, 2024. We've got Aries eclipses, and we've got 3 Libran eclipses. Here we have, now we're starting to get into Pisces. This is Aries, this is Pisces. And then here we've got Virgo and Libra. So you can see it's slipping back. Here we got now Aquarius and Pisces, and here we have Leo and Virgo. Getting toward the end of the decade. So we in the first set, we're in Aquarius, and then we jump 6 months and we go to Leo. And we have 3. It's always lunar, solar, and lunar. It's never solar, lunar, and solar. Because remember, there can only be 2 solar eclipses per year because the sun has to go over the nodes. And it takes 6 months to get from the south node to the north node, or from the north node to the south node. It's that simple, folks. It's that simple. All you need is an ephemeris, and all you need is something like this. I've planned out a few eclipses. Here is the famous one of 2015. Everyone knows about this one because they actually flew. They flew on 20th of March 2015. They flew a plane and they saw the eclipse. And guess what they noticed? They noticed that there's no moon going in front of the sun. And yet, have a look here. We see the moon and the sun are both right on the equinox of Pisces and the 20th of March, right on the equinox, right on the south node, and the north node is right opposite in Libra. And then you look at the declination, you see the sun and the moon are both 0 degrees declination, and the north node is 3 degrees declination. Here is the next one in 6 months later. This one's 6 months later in September 15. And as you can see, you have the sun right 3 degrees away from the north node. There's the north node, guys. Okay, this was a lunar eclipse, and the moon was right on the south node. They don't have it here, but the south node is always opposite, directly opposite the north node. So there's your eclipse for that year. Now I'm going to do the next year. I'm going to do the 2016 eclipses. Well, here we go. There's the north node, 21 degrees Virgo. There's the sun and moon, 18 degrees Pisces, directly opposite. So here, the south node caused the eclipse. And here you can see the sun and the moon at the same declination, and the north node, 3 degrees declination. Now we see the last set of, oh, dang. September 1st, 2016. Yes, this is the right one. Okay, so this is the 4th one. As you can see, look at this. There's the moon. There's the sun. 8 degrees, 9 degrees, 12 degrees. It's always the nodes. And what are the nodes? Well, let's have a look.
Place and the Travel Quest International Company.
This is the Travel Quest International Company that took this flight, and this is what they filmed. Let me know if the volume's okay, please, someone.
Organized a flight of 50 people to observe this phenomenon from the North Atlantic. And this is where the subject gets interesting. Several passengers filmed the totality of the eclipse, and the recordings show black orbs without light around the sun. And one of these orbs was covering the sun at the moment of the eclipse.
You hear that well, guys? Anyway, this is the video, eclipse orbs seen during total solar eclipse from plane on the 20th of March 2015. The most famous of all the eclipses, guys. I remember I made a video about it. Please watch this video here. On my channel, Rahu, the North Node, True Cause of Eclipses. Please, please watch this. Rahu, the North Node, the True Cause of Eclipses. I did this 5 years ago, okay? It's very easy to predict the eclipses, dear friends. It's very, very easy. Now, can you see those 3 orbs that were filmed? Well, it's funny. I remember watching this whole expedition and I saw those orbs, and that there, guys, that's this. That's this. This is the eclipse. It was K2 because Rahu was opposite. K2 was right on the sun and the moon. And this is what K2 looks like, guys. Can you guys hear this? Please, if someone can tell me.
We don't really hear much.
How about that?
I'm not sure. What are we supposed to be hearing?
Possibility of these.
Oh, there it is. I just heard taboo.
Okay. Anyway, look, all right. I won't look. You please. You watch this video, guys. Everyone who's listening, please share it. And because what happened was they've redacted this and they've taken those orbs out. I've searched online everywhere for this footage because I remember it when it came out in 2015, and you cannot find it anymore. They're trying to hide that. There is no moon causing this eclipse. There is no moon rock going past the sun. You can see it clearly. You can see just the orbs.
These stains on the window of the plane is ruled out when we analyze the images and apply these green and red lines. And we see that the orbs move in relation to the sun, while the spots in the airplane window do not move at all. So they are clearly 2 objects in a different space. The orbs are in the sky next to the sun, so they all move together, in contrast to the spots inside the plane on the window.
Anyway, guys, you can watch that video on your own time. This absolutely smashes the fact that the moon rock, which doesn't exist, causes the eclipse. It's not totally correct for me to be saying that. The moon actually does have a part in it, because the moon has to be at the right declination to cause an eclipse, and that doesn't happen. It only happens when both the sun and the moon are near the nodes. That's the only time they're ever at the same declination. That's why the eclipses happen only 6 months apart every year since time immemorial. 6 months apart, 6 months apart, 6 months apart, and they don't just happen every month, which would happen if the moon was on the same plane as the sun, but it's not. But the point is this: why do we not see the moon passing in front of the sun for 60 hours? If the moon is 220,000 miles away, it's very, very close. It's a rock. Astronauts have landed on there and played golf on there. That's a historical fact, right? You learnt that at school. You learnt that at kindergarten. Well, how does it disappear for 60 hours every month? That's all I want to know. Just give us, have the decency to answer a scientific question. You will never be able to answer that question. You're done. You're checkmated. It's finished. The globe does not exist. The Santa ball See, the globe was created by the Jesuit Copernicans, and then they started the Council of Trent and the Counter-Reformation against the nations who were all stationary flat earthers, and the Jesuits went around with their Inquisition and drilled it out of them, persecuted them to accept the global model because they had a global agenda. It's called global warming, global community, global economy, global governance, global lockdowns. That was a nice trick, wasn't it? Good on you, globalists. Global bullshit, global terrorism, global everything, global community, global up yours, because there is no Santa Globe. Sorry. So you see, why do we need to be passionate about this subject of where we live? Because either we bow down to the false idol of the Santa ball and believe in this great satanic Jesuit lie, which has caused more perversions and crimes in history than any other false lie. And people say, well, what difference does it make? Well, that just proves that you don't make a difference. So you might as well, I don't know, slit your throat, jump off a 40-story building. I don't know, because you're too stupid. If you actually ask the question, what difference does it make? Well, then you're about as dumb as a piece of dog poo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be aggressive, but really you have to be, because that is the most important question. Where the hell are you? We need to know. Is this just a mumbo jumbo pseudo-science big bang? We don't know where we are, who created us, what the purpose is, and how come, you know, all of these eclipses and everything all work to a calendar like a mechanism. If we're flying in ellipsoid orbits, the moon is an ellipse around the earth is an ellipse around the sun, and yet they're always the same size. When an eclipse, when you look at them in the sky, they're exactly the same size. How can that be? You see, globies have no answers. They've got nothing. They've got no science. And I want to finish with this, guys. I know no time for questions because I've just got too much material. We always talk about the scientific experiments that are repeatable, provable, and observable by Michelson, Morley, Sagnac, George Airy, James, Astronomer Royal, James, way before George Airy with his telescope in 1729, he proved the Earth was stationary. Guys, we don't have any footage of those experiments, okay? We don't. That doesn't mean that they weren't true. They were true. They did prove that the Earth is stationary. What I'm trying to tell you is that we do have a genius who proved that the Earth is stationary, and here he is. His name is Pierluigi Igina. Pierluigi Igina. And on my channel, you can see, here he is, and he proves in his laboratory that the Earth is stationary. Friends, he proves it. Here he is in this video here. Please take a snapshot of that title. Look at this video, and here he is. Here he is speaking in Italian in his laboratory. This test proves that the Earth is stationary.
Questa macchina ci vorrebbe fare capire che l'uomo vede girare la Terra con la sua un'illusione ottica. Lo vedete questo che fermo?
See those strobe lights, folks? He's proving that the Earth is stationary in his laboratory. The man died in 2004. He worked with Marconi inventing the radio for 10 years. Pierluigi Igina is a respected genius in Italy. And he says, look at this, La Terra è ferma. What does that mean? The Earth is stationary. So guys, please, all of you true earthers, get this out. Get Pierluigi Igina's experiment out. Get it out. It's on my channel. Here it is. The Earth is stationary. Pierluigi Igina, Santos Bonacci. It's only had 13,000 views, and I put it out 5 freaking years ago. 13,000 views. It's disgraceful. Here, I'm interpreting. He's Italian. I'm interpreting it in English for you so you can understand that we have a genius who has proven with a scientific experiment, provable, verifiable, observable, repeatable in our modern age. We don't have Sagnac anymore, guys. We don't have Michelson Morley, but we can see here in all the videos of Pierluigi Igina that have been saved by fans of him, the great Italian genius. Okay? And I've got so much to say about Pierluigi Igina. I've got so many points here that I want to share, guys, but I can't. Please go to Wikipedia and have a look at the 7 heavens, and you'll see that there are 7 domes, not one dome above our head. Okay? We've always had here, as you can see, where are they? Anyway, you'll read in here the concept of 7 heavens as developed in ancient Mesopotamia, blah, 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 the word 7 heavens. Yeah, okay, so the ancient Mesopotamians regarded the sky as a series of domes, usually 3, but sometimes 7, covering the flat earth. So please remember to go and see that video I shared with you on my channel. Plain Earth is scientific. And what else have I got to share with you guys? I've got a lot more, but I can't. That's it. My time's up. Thank you.
Santos, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love to have you back.
Thanks,
and tell people, oh, you already said it, Mr. Astrotheology at YouTube. So take, hopefully you got screenshots of that stuff.
Introducing Etheric State. Fasting has been proven to enhance brain function, activate your body's natural ability to recycle and repair in a process called autophagy, reduce inflammation, clear skin, aid in cellular repair, increase energy levels, improve insulin sensitivity, balance overall body composition, and much more. Try our 4 incredible all-natural electrolyte blends specially crafted to aid in your fasting journey, as well as optimize everyday hydration. Fuel. An all-natural flavorless electrolyte blend. Fire. Our natural electrolyte mix blended with cayenne to reduce inflammation. Coal. A revolutionary electrolyte mix blended with activated charcoal. And finally, our special Fire Plus Coal blend. Use your Summit coupon code to get an additional 10% off your entire purchase. Included with any purchase is exclusive access to our Etheric State fasting group, where we will be holding our first ever community fast after the summit. Take advantage of this special opportunity to elevate to an etheric state. Visit ethericstate.com today